shadows are devoured by even darker shadows, the curtain pulls back and reveals a world without light!
Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is TR Bailey with Yu-Gi-Oh! Overdrive here.
What's going on, guys?
And we are going to do a top 10 most broken non-extra deck monsters.
Okay, so we're starting with the non-extra deck. Alright, we have a big old list right in front of us to remember what it was. So, this actually took us a long time to do the entire thing. We ended up with like a list of 20 or so monsters, and then we kind of condensed it all into a top 10. And then we have an honorable mention segment right at the end of it.
That we'll do right at the end. So, let's start at number 10. So, number 10, we have Cyberstein that makes the list. So Cyberstein was kind of a whole format. It got emergency banned, as that is the only card that's ever been emergency banned during a format. Being as such, you know, you have to fit it in the top 10.
Too good. I never got to play in that format, but I did hear about how awful it was with Magical Scientist and all that good stuff.
Of course. And you know a list is really broken when our number 9 slot has to go to Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the end, of the beginning.
Yeah, that is my favorite card, and I was very sad when it couldn't even make it to the top 5, but, you know, with all the cards that we have in there, he did deserve a spot in the top 10, but it was really hard to fit him in. We actually almost cut him from the list entirely, but he definitely deserved his spot.
As you know, we have to go through the formats in which a lot of things that we used for this was the formats in which they were played, how they affected the game at the time that they were played. So a lot of these cards may be on this list that aren't even like relative to the game right now, or maybe never will be again, or maybe they wouldn't even matter if they were existent now.
Invasion of Chaos did kind of contribute about 3 monsters to this list, so it was I guess it was an entirely broken set.
Definitely was. Number 8 is the only card that is legal in the TCG and OCG that we have on the current list, and that is Dark Armed Dragon. Dark Armed Dragon, a lot of times when it's dropped in the current metagame, is automatic game, and it has been ever since its release. Can you imagine that at one point this card was at 3 and at 2?
Boom, Teledad, game, son.
Exactly. I don't know how this card is even still legal, to be honest with you. It probably won't be legal for much longer, as there's a lot of dark support coming out. But that being said, Dark Armed Dragon definitely does deserve a spot in the top 10, and it is more broken than BLS. I suppose it can be argued, but you're wrong. Number 7, we have all the baby dragons: Reactant, Lightning, Burner, and Stream. Yeah.
We couldn't really make them their own, as they're all pretty much the exact same card.
It would be pretty messed up to make them 4 cards on the list. So, being said, those 4 dragons, you know, obviously you get to special summon huge guys from the deck. We feel like they are some of the most broken monster cards that have ever been involved in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! As it just allowed you to make multiple Draco Sacks and Big Eyes. And how can you argue with that list, with those cards being on the list? I don't think there's any way to argue against them. Moving past that, we're going to go to number 6, and that is Fishborg Blaster. Fishborg Blaster is a card that is an infinite tuner. This card made so many decks broken, like Fish OTK, Frog FTK if your name happened to be Nathan effing Strand, and
I wonder what that deck would have been like if Trishula had been legal during its play.
I don't want to think about stuff like that, but what I do want to think about is what other level 1 could be compared tuner-wise, and that would be Glow Bulb, but it's not even close in comparison to Fishborg Blaster. And we all know how good Glow Bulb is, and it's a banned monster. So Fishborg Blaster definitely deserves its spot here. If it was legal today, Cloudians could make 3 Quasars in the first turn. So, with that being said, Fishborg Blaster at 0 was definitely the way for it to be, as Fishborg Blaster is a broken card. It allowed a lot of decks to be very good, including Frog Monarchs and various other cards.
Alright, jumping to the number 5 spot is the Mr. Substitute himself.
Substitute had the most consistent FTK in the game's history, without a doubt. With Substitute being able to be legal, in combination with another banned card, Mass Driver, you would infinitely be able to deal damage to your opponent until they die. The only way to stop this combo is to open up a Hanawada, and even at that point, if your name was Nathan Strand, you add Fishborg Blaster to it, the number 6 worst, most banned card ever. So you add that, and you make like tons of formulas and shooting stars, and just do really broken things.
And then you just dead your opponent.
Yeah, so Substitute definitely will always be a banned card. Now, when we go to number 4 is Makir the Destructor. It never really had a huge push in the game, as it wasn't legal for long, but Makir the Destructor, the concept of the card is just out of this world. Being able to activate trap cards from your hand.
Activate that Exchange of the Spirit, son.
Oh yeah, let's not even think about cards like that. Makir the Destructor just in Exodia decks, for example, you would infinitely be able to draw Exodia no matter what, because you can just start activating Reckless Greeds and like, it's like playing infinite amount of Upstart Goblins. With that being said, Mockery Destructor definitely deserves a spot, not only in the top 10, but obviously in the top 5. It's not there for fun, guys.
All right, jumping to the number 3 is Dark Magician of Chaos.
Goodness gracious, can we say enough about this card? Let's say if it was legal today, you could Temperance into this card and then add whatever card you want. I don't care that Reborn Dark Hole, oh, Dark Hole's legal. All those cards are banned, but let's just go back in time when this card was a thing. You could Graceful and dump it in the graveyard, call it back, and then get Graceful back.
Draw all the Exodias.
No, it's not just Exodia, and also consider that this is a staple monster. Like, you would also be able to, during Goat Control format, if you played it. A lot of people didn't even play it during Goat Control, but when they did, you would send it to the graveyard, premium it back, and then get another Scapegoats, another Metamorphosis, variety of really broken cards. So with that being said, Democ could never ever come back, and it is one of the most broken cards in the game's history. To number 2.
We have the Cyber Jar and Fiber Jar. We put the jars together to make them really just their own class of monster.
Because they really are the same card. One resets the game, and the other resets the game.
Whoever has the flipped Cyber Jar is gonna probably end up on top of the game.
It just wasn't a fair thing, and Cyber Jar being banned and Fiber Jar being banned, it's definitely something that, goodness gracious.
We have Konami to thank for that.
Yeah, that card, those cards. And number 1, you guys have been waiting for it. You guys knew what it was.
We said that there were 2 or 3 cards that came out of Invasion of Chaos. You guys have only heard 1 or 2 of them, so the other one could only be Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the Beginning.
So, think about this with the combo with Yata-Garasu, which is another banned card, who happens to be in our honorable mention list, but CED would do things that no other deck or any other card in this game could ever fathom doing. You summon it for free, and you get to activate an effect to send all cards from both sides of the field and from hands to the graveyard, and it then sends them, not destroys them.
And then punishes your opponent by dealing 300 for every card.
Exactly, and then to top it off, if you have something like Sangan or Castle of Dragon Souls, or other various cards, you just got to win the game automatically. And so CED is one of those auto win cards that can never ever come off the ban list. Not to mention, oh my gosh, Eclipse Wyvern's a card now. Could you imagine banishing and then, yeah,
searching for that Chaos Emperor Dragon?
Oh, and then just infinitely summoning cards from your graveyard, like Destiny Hero Malicious and other various cards.
And all of the dragons.
Yeah.
All of the good dragons.
All the dragons.
Let's see, how many dragons does this list consist of? We got Dark Armed, 4 baby dragons, plus CD. We got 5 or 6 dragons on this list.
Oh yeah, and that's not to mention that we're going to go right now to our
honorable mentions,
and we have Yata-Garasu, which might as well be a dragon. No, I'm just kidding. Magician of Faith. Magician of Faith was really good during its time, as it lets you get back cards like Nobleman of Crossout, which was limited for a very long time and was really broken in the game. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, there's another dragon for you. Sangan and Witch couldn't make the list just because these other cards are what they searched for, but Sangan and Witch were also really broken. And honestly, I feel like they're top 10 worthy, but I just couldn't fit them in. It's just that simple. Rescue Kitty Cat. Meow meow. That card's so broken. Like, that card would do some silly stuff, and even now today, if it was legal, I could get my 2 wind-up rats and then special summon rabbits. I want it to come back. No, I'm just kidding.
It almost seems like in a format like this, it could to make non-meta decks a little more competitive.
Yeah, but they should probably just never do that.
But as long as Cold Wave's banned and Heavy Storm is banned, it could make Caliber Cat a little more competitive, or other decks that would run it, like windups to get both of your rats, or something else that would be a competitive circuit.
Yeah, but I auto game with that because I make Engineer Volcasaurus with that play.
Boom.
Dead.
And then our last honorable mention goes to Judgment Dragon, who, along with these other honorables, could not make the cut. These were probably like the top 15 or 16 cards, but we could not make room for any of the honorables. Judgment Dragon was a card that we thought was going to make it in the top 10, but these other cards just beat it out, unfortunately. And I love me some Judgment Dragon.
I don't.
You're just mad because it beat you in a regional.
It did, but I hate Judgment Dragon. And guys, I appreciate you guys watching our video, and we're gonna do a couple more of these. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Overdrive, or Brandon, he's going to be leaving to the military very soon, so this is his last few segments that he's gonna upload onto his channel, and I'm gonna upload it on my channel, and we're gonna miss him a whole lot while he goes out there and serves our country. So, you know, do me a favor and do him a favor and like and subscribe. And you know, hopefully we can. Hopefully when he comes back, he can do a little bit more videos with me. But thanks a lot. I appreciate the view. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
See you guys.
T.R. Bailey signing out. And
Yu-Gi-Oh! Overdrive, Brandon Collins right here.